Friends, I feel like long time no see on the Satsang. Happy 2025. This is our public Satsang, and in 2025, we have everything new. Everything new. We have a new website. Our Patreon page is loaded up. 111 people, 365 posts, tons of materials, but redesigned as Patreon's new energy creator page. So our YouTube page has always been New Energy Creator since 2017. And the original website we had was newenergycreator.com. And I started it in 2016, which, oh my God, it was so long ago. I was such a different person. It's so interesting that many years ago, we're going on year 9. I've been working and running New Energy Creator for this is heading into year 9. And I'm so different, but my commitment to this Christos consciousness, to the new energy, hasn't changed a bit, which is fascinating to me because I get going on things, whether it's surfing or being in hiking and everything. And then one day I'll surf my last wave and go, okay, check. But the Christ consciousness is not something like that. So in 2025, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm finishing up my contract with Kuthumi. After that time, he's not going anywhere, but he won't be pushing me and running running the program, this many programs as he is now. Ascended Master Moria, who I was with since I was a child. I tell that story on newenergycreator.com. If you're interested, went away for about 4.5 years. And the second he went away, he left Kuthumi with me. So I've been with Kuthumi for 4.5 years in my personal life too, all day long, every day, Kuthumi. And it's just now become 2 to 3 days a week, not 7. And it's slowly tapering off. And I know he'll always be here, but it's quite an adjustment. Of course, Moria and I have something different. We have no contract. The way we work is totally different than Kuthumi, but it's been nice. And in the Nice to Meet You series, which I posted in my spare time at the end of the year, I introduce you to Moria and Kuthumi. So a lot of what I'm doing here is reintroducing you to our roots, where we came from and where we're going. This 2025 YouTube Satsang series. We do a Satsang series every year if you're new here. Will be all about the new energy. What is it? How does it work? How does it operate? So I'm going to throw some slides at you. This space, this YouTube channel, this Satsang specifically, the Patreon page, it is designed for a new energy nerd. Are you a new energy nerd? Not someone who's too cool for school or some kind of superstar, but the new energy nerd. As I was redesigning the website, I thought I might hire someone, and I got a lot of feedback. It needs to have this much white space, and this needs to happen, and all of this, all these studies on what makes people spend more money, and all the science out there. Yes, people hire specialists to make you spend more money on their website. But when I was going through all this, all I kept thinking was about my 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old self, who knew how to read really, really well and found all of what she was looking for. I felt like God consciousness was speaking to me through books. I love reading about others' experiences. I love reading the mystics from all the different lineages. I really like Christian mystics, obviously, because I'm a huge Jesus Yeshua fan. The second he went through the transfiguration, his light body was activated. Every word that came out of his mouth in the Gospels was about how new energy works. So I pull a lot from there, and then a lot from Eastern wisdom, yoga, Kundalini. Not Kundalini yoga, but the pranic force that is Kundalini. And I weave them all together. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to get the slides up. Hopefully I don't fumble this. We're casual here. We're casual. I did brush my hair and my teeth, but we're casual here because shiny and polished and really sleek and highly produced stuff is not my jam, and it doesn't, I don't trust it. And something's too shiny, too pulled together, too, I know everything else. I know everything better than everybody else. Nah, right? So this is about learning, being students of the new energy, which is the only way you'll learn how it works. If you declare yourself higher than it or whatever else, you're never going to know. New energy requires you to bow at the feet of God consciousness, which is also you. Let's get going. How do I share screen? Let's see if I fumble it. I did a couple practices. We got there we go. Cute. Share. Am I in the corner? Yep. All right. And play. There we go. Right? See, this is what I mean by not polished. It's very simple, and we're not going to edit that out because I have too many things to do. I come up out of the depths of everything I'm creating every month, and I put it in the Satsang. So that's what this is. This is an image from our new website, New Energy Creator, Ascended Master Teachings for the New Energy Era, for the advanced and discerning adept. I'm going to tell you what an adept is. We have a definition. Perhaps it's you, perhaps it's not. And this satsang is mainly material from Kuthumi and myself, Sarah. I am that I am, Sarah, of biological autonomy, of sovereign mind, an empty vessel for the will of God to allow the Christ consciousness to refract through me, through the spinal column. We'll talk more about that. All right, so calling all new energy nerds. Today we're going to do 4 facets of the new energy Christos consciousness. I do have to take you through some administrative things. It's that time of year. I got to take you through some administrative things, and then I'm going to get to the 4 facets, the 4 qualities of this new energy. It's very different than energy responding to consciousness. So we're going to do a quick update on all things new. I'm going to give you a brief, really brief timeline of what we've done and what we're going to do. Newenergycreator.com. Go check it out. Take a look. I let my 5-year-old to 8-year-old book-loving, ancient wisdom reader facet go to town on what we're doing there. And so, yay. No measured white space and funnels and this to get you to buy more things that you don't really need. I only want you to buy what you want. I only want you to buy what you can put on your credit card and pay off. Do not pay interest on this, right? These are mature materials for mature beings, right? Mature materials for mature beings. So I don't want to do all those things that people were trying to get me to do. Yeah, I do a lot of that in this life. Nope. And people say that's going to cost you money. And I go, okay, right? I'm an adult and I do adult things for other adults, right? For discerning and advanced adepts, right? I'm not going to make a website for that. Anyhow, so you can go there and sign up for our new newsletter. Our old newsletter list we've had for almost 9 years. There's a lot of people on there that aren't interested in our materials and or have just been following our materials to poke at it or gawk and awe and forward it to their friends and say, look at her, and all the stuff that people do who aren't getting bloodied in the arena, right? Daring greatly. The quote from, God, was it Franklin Roosevelt, FDR? Brene Brown uses a lot. It's like, we're in the arena getting bloody. I only take feedback from the arena, from being in the arena, getting bloody. The only way to meet the Christ consciousness and bring it to earth, embody it, and have this full expression experience in the biological body is to get bloody in the arena. So that's what we're doing. So we, in October, we did the 28 days to the end of all suffering programs, 28 channels in 28 days, or actually more than that. So to highlight some of what we're working on, I created a whole Instagram series, and it also, if you don't have Instagram, a lot of the people we work with don't have social media. Almost no one has Facebook, so we just don't use it. Um, thank God. So each day in the 28-day series, I pulled out the highlights and made it into a series. Like I pulled out this little story. I pulled out definitions that Kuthumi walked us through and that I walked us through. Like today, I'm pulling from channel number 2 on the qualities of the new energy, such as reflection, refraction, and absorption, which we're going to cover fully in this satsang. So I just keeps going. So if you want to look at our series and it highlights like the day 7, new energy routine, it highlights some of that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. How do I go back? Excuse me. All right, let's play it again. Now I know. All right. There we go. So that's going to be both on the YouTube community page and on the Instagram page, which the links are below this video on the YouTube page. And there are widgets on the website. You can find all the links on the website, the YouTube page, and the Patreon page. Patreon.com/new energy creator. So today we're going to do the 4 facets of new energy. I'm going to talk about 4 qualities of the new energy. I often teach in lists in the yogic tradition I came from, where everything's just kind of listed out. We do that for the mind, but they're not linear, right? It's not having in linear order. It's just like, here's 4 concepts. They all kind of coalesce and move and change and morph. And sometimes you're doing more refraction than absorption, for example. We do put it in a list just so the mind has some kind of concept. So we're going to do a lot of that today. I'll show you how I teach and what I teach, how I operate, and how the new energy operates. So this is the start. This video right now marks the start of our new series for 2025 on YouTube, which is calling all new energy nerds, right? Not people who are struggling to survive, not people who are struggling to prove that they know more, right? New energy nerds, people who aren't content with just like letting life pass them by. They want to take life apart piece by piece down to the studs and put it back together so they learn how it works. That's how I feel about new energy. I want to take it apart and put it back together. And now that I have been absolved from my duty to deal with groupthink or bottom of the barrel, I have been absolved. I no longer have to deal with the groupthink, and I no longer have to talk or look or use the language of that other place. So now I can move forward with all the new energy nerds. Let's do this, you guys. All right. Yep. Don't forget, 28 Days. This is now an Instagram series. If you're interested in learning about what we teach and how we teach it, this Instagram series will cover that, and you'll probably get some really cool information, even if you never take the course in the future. There's a lot of reviews on this course. There's some on the YouTube community page right now. There's some on the website. Our old website is still active and it still has all the store items. We haven't moved those over yet. The big shift will happen in June of this year. We will completely move over in June. But right now on becomingsurah.com, also on the YouTube links, the Patreon links, and the Instagram links. If you go there, you can buy the 28 Days to the End of All Suffering, or you can just sign up for Patreon and get it there in the 77 or higher tiers, or you can do a one-time purchase on Patreon if you like doing things on the app. If you don't have a desktop computer, I know some of you just have iPads and iPhones or Androids, you can get this whole series on the app on your phone. You don't need a desktop. If you're going to do it on the desktop and you don't want to have anything to do with Patreon, there's some people like that. I still have this course up for you on becomingsurah.com. You pay one fee, you have access for 1 whole year. And for people who do that level of involvement and commitment, I answer email questions. And I don't do private sessions publicly, but for people who have done our programs, if they have something really specific they want to work on and are already working on, I will come in and help them. The only way to get that link is to do one of our programs. I just don't want to leave anybody hanging. The intimacy and the uniqueness of the individual is really important to me. All right, let's get to it. How do I get to the next slide? I'm in the videos. There we go. What happened? What happened? What did we do in 2024 and where are we going in 2025? So in January to June of 2024, last year, we did 40 people did the new human database. We had the new human program. In March of last year, we recorded in a professional studio our first audiobook. It contains all the light body sessions. It's called the Magi's Definitive Guide to the New Human Species, and it's on Audible and iTunes. In the summer of last year, we put out the Rhythm of Further book. So downloaded, so many people read it. I got so many notes about this. Thank you so much. The book is, you can download it for free. It gives a nice overview of our offerings and how we operate and a lot of Kuthumi stuff. Because people like the Rhythm of Further book, we had the original course, the Rhythm of Further, that ran in 2023 in support of the opening of the passageways to all of creation. We now have the full course of the Rhythm of Further on our Patreon page. You can get it for $99, and it's all the channels that go with the book and bonus materials that did not make it into the book. In August, we held our Divine Blueprint workshop, and we'll hold it again in March. Most people are repeat because the Divine Blueprint materials grow each time. And when you sign up, you get the previous materials, and then I put out a new batch. I can't teach the same thing over and over again. The Divine Blueprint, it was shown to me by Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Let's not go into it right now. Anyhow, there's one space left for it in March. And it's the only one we'll teach next year. Half repeat people, half new people. So you will be welcome if you are new, and we will catch you up. And it's a lot of personalized support with a really great group of ladies from all over the world. Canada, United States. I think we have 7 Europe. Yeah, just all over the place. We work with people all over the world. Speaking of which, in May, we'll be in Germany. We're doing Prisms in the New Light. This is the signature finale for Kuthumi, Prisms in the New Light, right? So Kutumi's always been talking to us for ages about backing away from the need to perceive, right? So what perception is to the limited local linear mind, right? Prisms are to awareness. So instead of perspective from a local linear mind, we're looking at prisms of awareness, prisms in the new light. So not perspectives of the Christ consciousness. And I'm just trying to give you some idea. Prisms of awareness in the new light. So you're going to take us from perspective to prisms so we can understand the Christ consciousness and this new light on earth more fully. This is sold out. It will be recorded, and then you can buy it in the store if you would like to. It's Kuthumi's final. I'm very excited about it, and the people who signed up for it are amazing. So we will have that available online later in the year. As we move to our new energy creator materials for the advanced and discerning adepts, we will be asking everyone to do the 5th P practice. One way to do the 5th P practice is through the 365 days of light. It gives an example of a new energy routine in which you check the weather and you connect the biological fluid form to the light of awareness. We show you exactly how to do it in direct application. I have a little chat with Kuthumi and you. And then we have experience that you can watch every day. But after you watch it several times, I really encourage people to make it their own. We work with people who use Qigong balls, whose new energy routine is walking, who teach embodied dance classes. Like, we don't like one size fits all approaches here. Make it your own. Always make it your own, no matter what. So all of our materials give these kinds of frameworks and then ask you if something calls to you, great, make it your own. There's such a deep rooted idea. People don't even know they're talking about it, that this light body expression experience is like a one size fits all thing. Like everyone's going to go to the closet one day and their light body will be hanging there. It'll be a standard issue of light body. The light body is a unique and sovereign expression of your inimitable, cannot be copied consciousness expressed in a biological form. If you've been with me a while, you'll notice that my bone structure has changed completely. My voice has changed. My hair color has changed. The way I walk and talk and think has changed. Turns out all those personality traits I thought were mine were just responses to traumas in my life, like having a not nice environment growing up made me have a really good sense of humor so I could diffuse situations, you know? So you start to have all of this loss of identity happening, right? Speaking of that, we're doing that right now. We're in the middle of the Kuthumi, Yu, and Sosi Hoon materials. It started in December. It's running through February. The deep dive intimate calls are, of course, sold out, but you can still get the materials on the Patreon page if you choose. So that's enough of that. There's a million things I could do here, but for the sake of time and your beloved, precious attention, let's go. All right. So I want to give a little bit from the website, and then we're going to get right on into those 4 qualities of new energy Christos consciousness. So I was talking to Moria. I said, okay, so we're doing a new website when Kuthumi is backing up, right? And we're going forward. What is it? What are we going to do? And the thought was, what are we just passionate about? We're passionate about like true ascended master teachings, not like got to the end of my lifetime, figured out how to undo the karma, checked out. I'm talking about like embodied beings who came here for a special and specific expression of this Christos consciousness. So we decided that we're going to go general and then deeper. Ascended master teaching for the new energy era, right? We're moving from the Piscean age to the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is the new energy era. And it's like, who is this for? Who are these materials for? I realized I've been making the materials for people who I'm not talking to in the previous satsangs, right? So I'm recording a satsang now for the people I make materials for. I make materials for the advanced and discerning adept. So adept is a word that Moria uses a lot, and what he called me and still calls me when he sits down and we have a go at where I'm at, where I'm going, where I need to grow, where I need to let go. An adept is a living, breathing standard in self-awareness. An adept is someone who demonstrates in action, not in conceptual thought or in a group Facebook chat forum, one who demonstrates in action loving wisdom, the ability to generate new energy from within, from the fountain within, as Kuthumi called it, and an aptitude for advanced states of consciousness, not for personal gain, but in sovereign support of a world on the cusp of great change. The amount of focus you spend on service in the bigger picture is directly proportional to the levels of advanced states of consciousness you can find yourself at. So what is a new energy creator? I'm not going to rate it word for word, but I'll just go through it real quick. You are a new energy creator, or you can be. The only requirement to be a new energy creator is an unwavering curiosity for the unknown and the humility, the bow that comes naturally from being in human form, bowing at the feet of the divine. New energy creators create their own reality and generate their own energy, never having to beg, borrow, or steal energy from others. They live with biological, mental, and emotional autonomy, changing the biological form and function at the subatomic level, creating grand and lasting impacts for all of humanity. The more you understand how you're impacting all of humanity, the easier all of this will be to access. New does not refer to new as old. When we say new energy creator, new comes from it's related. There's an etymology from new to Christos. Christos means new. Christos means infinite, unlimited, non-dual, infinite rather than finite. So new in this context is beyond the land of opposites. New refers to the infinite, old to the finiteness of duality. New refers to the permanence of the absolute, and old to the impermanence of the passage of time and space. In sum, new energy is a modern word for Christ consciousness or Christos consciousness. Moria's piece. During this modern era on Earth, Moria says true, he's like, Lauren, true ascended master teachings have been lost in a world obsessed with personalized identity and quick spiritual fixes, fixated on a finite identity, such as experiencing yourself as a human being in its last lifetime. Yet the masters of this new light have stood in the shadows, waiting for the time when the flame of new energy would begin to burn on earth again. Last time it did was at the time of Yeshua. Here at New Energy Creator, we aim to look at this new light, this return of the Christos consciousness to earth through a variety of prisms of awareness, right? We just talked about that. Prisms of awareness, rather than from varying human qualia-based perspectives. We do so through the beings who lived long and liberated enough, that includes you, to experience this new light while maintaining a physical representation on Earth. All right, highlights here. We have no guru or personality at the center of our teachings. For we all, including the Magus Moria, including Kuthumi, including me, including you, we are all students of the Christ consciousness or new energy, all of us. So we have no personality or center or guru at the center of our teachings. If we had a guru or center, new energy or Christ consciousness is the guru. We have a lot of guests drop by. I have Krishnamurti wants to do a channel. You know, Yogananda comes through, Babaji comes through, always Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and then the three wise men who were there at the birth of Jesus. One of those was Moria, one of those was Kuthumi, one is Dwal Kul. I've never put out a Dwal Kul channel, we'll see. But I just got to stress that new energy is the only guru or teacher with a capital T here in all of our offerings on YouTube, website, and Patreon and Instagram. This new energy, here we go. To understand how the new energy works, we must be humble enough to stand under it in awe, with complete humility, sincerity, and honesty. Total honesty, with self-honesty. For it is not something that one can stand over, stick a conquering flag in the victory mound of understanding. It cannot be stood over. It can only be understood. This new energy is only accessible by the modern adept, one who has established a direct connection to God consciousness, allowing this deep knowingness to permeate the unknowns of the new energy reservoir. When the Gnost knowingness, I know that I know, or as Yeshua said, we do know, right? That's a vertical. When that kind of knowingness hits the unknown unknowns of this relative and or impermanent reality that's constantly changing, right? When those things cross, and I'm about to show you the cross on a graphic. When those things intersect, new energy is created. It's not just inside, it's not just outside, it's all the kingdom. So this adept allows the deep knowingness to permeate the unknown unknowns. This creates the new energy reservoir of our infinite beingness and undiluted awareness, free from the distortions of duality, old, limited, finite energy. New energy creator generates, well, that's what we do here. We generate advanced courses in consciousness filled with direct experiences and direct applications of living in this new light. You don't take a course and shut the computer. These courses are living light. We have intimate calls to back it up and sovereign one friendships. Most consciousness teachings available to the world offer up an enlightened man, right? You have a Sadhguru, you have this, you have a Magi, you have a whatever. They have a enlightened man put on a stage covered in cloths with their hands in their lap, right? So the most consciousness teachings available, and there's nothing wrong with that. It clearly is not me, right? So they put an enlightened man up there and he tells universal truths. They all overlap, they're all the same. But it's a great service, but they're talking about the basic levels of awareness. So most conscious teachings available to the world offer up an enlightened man to address the masses, to try to convince busy humans to spend 10% of their time on spirituality. Huge implications for the earth. I wish I could do something like this. God did not cut me out of that cloth, right? Here, we would tell you there is no teacher but the Christ consciousness. I pretty much hammered that home for you. And we cover what comes after enlightenment and staying on earth, with those giving 100% of their being over to the new energy expression experience. That's either it's your last lifetime or you came back out of service with not because of a karmic tie. It is an abundant landscape of universal offerings, not limited to one lineage and free from groupthink dynamics, made for abundant beings living in the extreme excess and almost absurdly overflowing wealth that springs forth from the fountain of new energy that lives within us all. It's simply waiting to be enlivened by the one and only you. Right. So there's a lot more on the website, but I just wanted to read some of the stuff I've been working on. Here we are. We're at the point that everybody's been waiting for. New energy. How does it work and operate, this new energy you speak of? So this is a pull quote from the 28 Days to the End of All Suffering. And it's Kuthumi and Sarah streamed into one, and you, the people listening live to the channels, we streamed it into one stream. So I said, we'll talk about reflection, refraction, and absorption. We have slides for each of those. Reflection, refraction, absorption. One is no better than another. They work in tandem in a state of ecstasy and unity. They're able to express themselves individually as well. You could think of, this is what Kuthumi said, you could think of reflection, refraction, and absorption as a threefold spiraling flame. So I got a little image here. It is how God consciousness expresses itself here in a relative matter-based reality. The absolute and the relative intersect, horizontal and vertical lines meeting on an electromagnetic grid. We live in an electromagnetic reality. All right, so I use horizontal and vertical a lot. vertical, absolute, horizontal, relative. Let's check the board, right? So what I'm doing in this January Satsang is bringing some of the terms. You may already know these things, but you may not know how we talk about them. So I'm going to get it in here because each Satsang this month is going to build upon another. It's a continuous series. That's what we do every year. It's a continuous series. Connect the dots, la, 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 right? Let's check the board. Horizontal, that's energy land, right? The horizontal axis. That would be this guy. Oh, my mouse is not working, right? Horizontal is this way. Horizontal axis, finite, relative reality. It has time and space, past, present, future. The best way to think about the horizontal energy land is you're born, you have a middle life, and then you die. That would be horizontal. It's linear. It's there, everything is constantly moving and changing. It's impermanence. It's why humans are crazy. We have dualistic standard biological forms in a constantly moving, changing, evolving, impermanent reality. The states of our being in our body are impermanent, which is great if you're having a tough time. Not so great if you just found your realization and you lost it. There's a lot of unknown unknowns because it's relative. We don't know what time our neighbor's going to leave the house. They could leave at a time where we get in a car accident, right? It's a lot of unknown unknowns. You leave the house, you don't know what's going to happen to you. Particle, one perceivable outcome. You get in the car wreck with the neighbor, there's going to be one perceivable outcome. A fault will be determined, damage will be determined. You won't be able to undo fault or damage, right? Particle, one perceived outcome. Vertical, up and down. This is the infinite. This is where grace descends into your life. When you had your spiritual awakening, grace descended from the vertical into your horizontal timeline. And you go, wait, there's so much more. We talk about this greatly in the Divine Blueprint materials. We're beyond time and space. We also talk about absolute reality, how grace descends. When the vertical comes into the horizontal, we are dealing with no singular outcome. The wave function no longer collapses. In new energy, the wave function does not collapse unless it's needed. It comes through. Oh, I get really deep in there. All right, let's just put it that way. I could go really deep into the mechanics of this. And I promised myself I wouldn't. I had to delete slides, right? If you want to know the ins and outs of it, you're going to have to come into one of our deep dive courses. All right. The wave function can't collapse in the new energy, but it's in a refraction. Okay. It's too much. Right? So when these two things intersect, we call it an energetic imprint. A lifetime is an energetic imprint. And then I have, of course, a cute little plant mustard seed growing from the intersection of vertical and horizontal axes in this electromagnetic grid. I know. All right, let's talk about this is so hard. The advanced stuff is not hard for me. To bring it down into like basics, just so we can build up from there, is really difficult for me. So reflection. Most people are familiar with what reflection is. Reflection is a throwing back by a body or surface, like a mirror or like a pond, a still pond, where you can see your reflection in it. It's a throwing back by a body or surface without absorbing it. So if light reflects off a mirror, the mirror bounces back and the mirror does not absorb the light. In science, reflection refers to the phenomenon where a wave, like a light or sound wave, changes direction when it hits a boundary between two different mediums, essentially bouncing back into the original medium it came from. So reflection doesn't absorb anything and it bounces back to the original place it came from. Refraction. Woo, Kuthumi. Refraction. This is where Kuthumi really wants to what he wants to focus on in the prisms and the new light materials. There's a heavy emphasis on the refractory nature of the Christos consciousness of the new energy. I gave you a little bit in the graphic. Refraction is the bending of light. And that happens with sound and light waves and others as it passes from one transparent substance into another. We can use the image of a crystal prism, which can be found at any science museum gift store. When I was little, I loved the museum, and my parents got me one once. Think about holding up the crystal prism into the sunlight, and it refracts a rainbow onto the white wall when the light passes through it. So this is the actual graphic when we were trying to fill up our prisms in the new light event. And now I get it. Took me a while. Refraction is also how you shine your light in the body. Wave refraction is the big bending of waves as it passes from one medium to another. So now that we know this, we can take it further. This is how I teach, right? Wave refraction is the bending of waves, like light waves, sound waves, as it passes from one medium to another. In the graphic, it's a light wave. We get that. So let's say the absolute, the light of awareness is this white line on the graphic. And it passes through this biological form into relative reality, into classic earth reality. So that's how the Christ consciousness is brought to earth, that you have access to it, and it bends and refracts. So for advanced and discerning adepts, the bend occurs in the spinal column, the subtle anatomy of the spine. And through the PM tour, we have advanced courses on these things and calls about them on our Patreon page. You are more than welcome to join if you're a new energy nerd. So the light of absolute reality, the light that comes from absolute reality, refracts through the prism that is the biological and subtle energy body being that is you, your physical body, your energetic body. The light bends and refracts from absolute reality into the relative reality, which brings the Christ consciousness to earth. This is really oversimplified. The upright spine is just like the prism. When a wave hits a surface of a different medium, some of it is reflected like the mirror, some of it bends like the prism, and changes direction as it travels through the medium. Some of it is absorbed. This is from a Kuthumi channel in the 28 Days to the End of All Suffering, channel number 2, day 2. Absorption. This is also from that same channel. Absorption. Absorption is when a material soaks up light and doesn't reflect or transmit it. The new light is absorbed by the material's atoms and converted into energy. It changes you create a whole new human species. You have biology made of light. It's sovereign. It has a non-dual nervous system. It has the heart of the magus, open, bleeding, vulnerable heart. You're a mess. It's wonderful. You're a wonderful mess, and you love it. And you're crying and you're laughing, and you're like, God, why didn't I just let myself loose earlier? States of ecstasy and union and God's of absorption. So this is things where this great bliss, right? And ... This is where things get very advanced and very critical. This is when we have to whittle down who we're working with and the level of commitment they have and how much work they've done to eliminate karma. You still have a bunch of karmic ties, and this starts activating. It's not good or healthy. This is related to your Kundalini being active and you moving it around. We do that work, but it's not for public consumption. You need to sign a 7-page waiver form. So I would just put the highlights in here. And we do highlight it a lot in our light body stuff. If you don't feel comfortable coming and talking to us on a call, that's why we have our books out there. So yeah, I said that. This was from our 28-day program channel. It was the last, God self-absorption is the last chapter in the Rhythm of Further. But that's a free book, downloadable on the becomingsurah.com website, which is the old website. But we're still using both until so I can make this slow switch. I'm doing it myself. I'm not paying someone to do it, so it's slower because I've got a lot of programs I'm running right now. And the full course with the God Self Absorption channel is on Patreon on the Rhythm of Further collection folder. There's a lot of collection folders there, and we also have all these advanced light body notes about the spine, the Pima tour. You can also find those on Patreon and the becomingsurah.com website. Right. So 4 ways new energy works. It's completely different from energy serving consciousness or energy responding to consciousness. Energy and consciousness coalesce. That can only happen beyond time and space, and they create new energy. It's free and it's all yours. Reflection. This is not you being a mirror. This is not you being a refracting. This is the qualities of the Christ consciousness. And then once you embody the Christ consciousness, this is how it works. Right? So we're not talking about mirrors like as in awakening mirrors and triggers and reactions. The Christ consciousness mirrors. The Christ consciousness refracts. The human is just a vessel for the will of God. The biology is just a vessel for the will of God. God's self-absorption versus Christos consciousness absorption. Something to look at there for my advanced and discerning adepts like myself. So number 4, because we did those 3, number 4 is really important. Duality means they're 2, right? Let's talk about duality as a 2, right? There's good, bad, right, wrong, black, white, rich, poor, everything in duality because it's relative. Someone can't be rich unless it's compared to someone poor. Something can't be good unless we've had a bad experience, right? So duality. What I see people trying to do when they say, "Oh, I'm a new energy creator," or whatever, they're trying to take duality and put it into a one. This is not going to make sense to everybody. They're trying to take 2 to 1. Right? Let's remove duality. We'll make it 1. To access the Christos consciousness, you take the 2 to the 4. And that takes the duality out. The 2 can't go back into the 1. The 2 has to become the 4. If you know, you know. If that doesn't make sense, okay. You can't use your human mind to put duality together into one cohesive thing. It's a deep sensation to go beyond duality. And it occurs in a step from the 2 to 4, quantum leap. All right, none of this is possible. Your access to the new energy is not possible without a great humility and love for humanity. There's no door for you otherwise. If you don't love all of Earth and all of creation and have embraced all of humanity and bowed at the feet of the God also, you won't have access to the Christ consciousness. All right. So you want to know more about new energy? You want the new energy notes? Make sure to sign up for our newsletter, right? On newenergycreator.com. It's on the homepage. It's the first box you see. It's real basic. The website's going to be real basic. Check it out. All right. So we are Sarah. Well, I am Sarah. I'm joined with Kuthumi today. You also got a little bit of Moria. New Energy Creator only has one guru teacher, and that is the New Energy, the Christos Consciousness. New Energy Creator, Ascended Master Teachings for the New Energy Era. True Ascended Master Teachings for the Advanced and Discerning Adept. No bells and whistles. This is for new energy. nerds. I just want to pause here and say thank you. Thank you so much. You made 2024 our most expansive year yet. We worked with so many of you. Maybe about 300 people came through our door. Some just buying books, some signing up for everything and contributing to everything, which is so much fun because everything builds upon each other. I mean, I do it all first and then I put it into some kind of format that's digestible. And then we get around and talk, get around the fire, the new energy fire, the Christ flame, and we sit around it alone together and have some wonderful discussions. And I learned so much from all of the people who show up on our calls and write comments. And oh, you guys are amazing. And that, to me, that's what 2025 is. That's what 2025 is for me. It's really embracing being with you new energy nerds, really getting into the nuts and bolts of how this all works and the spine with the PM mature, the causal body, especially, really focusing on those minute details. I'm obsessed with Kuthumi's refraction, Christ consciousness refraction notes. I can't wait to get down in the weeds with you. So if you're a new energy nerd, you're in the right place. And we're just so overjoyed to see you again. I hope you come join us on Patreon, follow the Instagram series if you haven't been involved before. And if you're looking at the website going, where do I start? You're looking at Patreon going, where do I start? Send me an email. I have my email below and I can point something out if you tell me a little bit about where you're at and what hole you want to fill in for yourself and by yourself. All right, this was lovely. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys again in February or in one of our programs.